There's actually a page I follow on Instagram and TikTok that's just a bunch of random Jimmy Neutron clips. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Highly Taken podcast. This is David Siegberg back to you again from Tallahassee, Florida.
This is Dylan Siegberg coming back at you from Des Moines, Iowa.
You're in Iowa?
He's been in Iowa. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Huh?
I've always been in Iowa.
Am I going to go? I'm going to go and like clip every single time Dylan said he's from Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines.
Interesting.
There's one point where
Christian, where are you from?
I accidentally said Idaho.
Oh, I'm from Tokyo, Japan.
Oh, ohayou gozaimasu.
Hold on, let me grab Ippy.
Yeah, we dropped 2 bombs on you, loser.
Yeah, well, guess what? I don't know anything. I don't know. Japan kind of sucks.
Okay. Anyway, so we have something very important coming up. I guess we'll get straight into it first, and that's going to be the NFL draft coming up. And we're going to give some predictions. I think we said either top 10 or top 15 where we think it's going to happen. So this will be exciting. And you know what, Dylan, I'll let you do the honors. You go ahead and start what you think is going to happen.
Okay, so I think that we're going to see 3 quarterbacks. I think everybody knows this. 3 quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now, everybody knows Caleb Williams is going to be number 1. We can all agree Bears want Caleb Williams bad.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Keenan Allen went and watched Caleb Williams during his pro day. There's a reason for that. They want Caleb Williams.
Right.
Now, Washington, I see people thinking that Drake May is going to be that quarterback. I don't see that happening. I think Jaden Daniels will be taken by Washington. They love the running quarterback. That's why they like Sam Howell and even Taylor Heineke when he was there. RG3, they love their running quarterback. So I think Jaden Daniels will make a perfect fit in Washington. And Drake May, who a lot of people are saying is Drake May, everybody's saying, oh, he's the most NFL-ready quarterback. I think he's going to go 3 to New England. I think 2 quarterbacks are going to go over him. I could see that happening. Now, here's where I think something different is going to happen. I don't think that Arizona is going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that they're going to take Neighbors from LSU. I think he'll be the first wide receiver off the board.
I have one genuine question. So you believe that the Cardinals will stay put at 4 but take Neighbors?
Yes, I do.
That makes my jaw drop.
I do not think that Arizona is going to trade with Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota is going to go after a quarterback. Not in this draft. I don't think they will. And at the 5 pick, the Chargers will get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Neighbors will be the first one, but Marvin Harrison Jr. will go to LA. He'd be a great fit with the Chargers. We all know Justin Herbert needs more weapons. Lost everybody in the offseason, which leaves New York with Rome Odunze from Washington. I think that the Giants are going to pick him up. They need to get a weapon there. The last good receiver that New York had was Odell Beckham. And he has been gone for years.
Are you kidding me? 2-time Super Bowl champion Kadarius Toney?
Anyway.
So we're just doing top 10 then? Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I think we should probably just go top 10 because once we get past that, I'm not going to know a whole bunch of players.
Well, I did 15, but I'll let you do 10, Christian.
Yeah. I'll do top 10 and then I did 15 as well.
I could probably get to 15. If we want to do 15, I could probably figure out a way to. Nah, actually, I couldn't. I definitely couldn't.
Give me your 10, Christian.
Look, I think this draft is going.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
And I was saying with those 6 picks, and then Tennessee, I think Brock Bowers will go to Tennessee. They have they had Delaney Walker. I think they have a Okonkwo right now, but I just
Oh,
think
I'm
that
sorry,
at the
Dylan. I
tight end
forgot.
position,
I forgot that you were talking about the New York Giants, not Jets. My bad.
yeah, Brock Bowers will go to Tennessee. I think that he's a generational talent at the tight end position, and I think he's going to do well in Tennessee. Atlanta, I think Atlanta's going to go offensive tackle here. I think they're going to take Joe Alt. Really good, really good offensive tackle in college. And then I've heard some speculation that maybe Chicago trades out of that 9 spot. I don't think so. I think they stay in that spot and draft an offensive lineman for Caleb Williams, and I think that guy's going to be. And I hope I don't mess it up. Talise Fuaga. I think that they're going to go after him, get some protection, and at the 10 spot, Christian doesn't agree with me, but I think that the New York Jets are going to draft J.J. McCarthy. I think that they want to get a really good quarterback for the future, put him behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know how long he's going to have. He's probably coming up close to ending his season. And I think ending his career, I think JJ
Or
McCarthy is going to be
season.
the guy to come in behind
Depending
him. Yeah.
how last season went, we don't know.
Listen, I would like to say quick, and it's on clip and it's on video, that Dylan just said that the Jets can draft a really good quarterback. He said really good quarterback when talking about J.J. McCarthy. So I want that to be stamped and known. J.J. McCarthy is a really good quarterback. Now, to continue on about the draft, though, just wanted to be stamped and known there. Yeah. Obviously, number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, right? I mean, I feel like that's kind of, now granted, the Bears could turn the whole thing upside down, shock the entire world, and not go Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams is going first overall. Here's where I think things get tricky. Dylan, I know you went Jaden Daniels at the 2. I think I'm going to agree with you there. I think I'm also going to go Jaden Daniels at 2 to Washington. Now, I think that fits very good with Cliff Kingsbury offensive system that he has over there. I think he could fit well into the scheme that Washington's going to play over there. But I think once you get to the 3rd pick is really when everything starts to change. To me, Drake May is the guy that is going to fall in this draft. Out of all the quarterbacks that we have, Drake May is the one that's going to fall. At 3 goes J.J. McCarthy, but I don't know if he goes to New England. I think that's where we could see our first trade of the night come in, is at the 3rd overall pick. And that's going to what dictates it all from there. If New England trades out of that 3 spot, let's say to Minnesota, okay? So now Minnesota pumps their way up into that 3 spot. Okay, Minnesota takes J.J. McCarthy. At that point, I think the Cardinals will trade out of the 4 spot, and that's where you see Drake May go off the board at 4. It's only a one round or 1 pick drop, but once you got 3 QBs coming off the board, you're really short-handed on them now. So all your quarterback-needy teams are moving up. I think they also trade out of I think Cardinals trade out of the 4 spot, and Drake May goes 4. 5th, I agree. It's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. To the Chargers. I think that's a great fit, phenomenal fit, something that the Chargers desperately needed. As Dylan said earlier, you lost Keenan Allen, you lost Mike Williams, you lost Austin Eckler, you lost all your key offensive pieces, so you need to get a receiver back in there, and why not get a once-in-a-generational guy like Marvin Harrison? At the 6 with New York, I think New York gets Neighbors. I think Neighbors is the 2nd wide receiver off the board. I know you say Neighbors was 1st. I don't hate that. I think Neighbors is truthfully not that far away from Marvin Harrison Jr. in a comparison-wise. I just do agree that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver in this draft. He deserves to go the pick before. So I think Neighbors goes to the 6 to New York. 7 to Falcons. Again, I'm on the same page here as well.
7's
Titans. Titans. Oh, okay. You know what? I think Titans go O'Doon. I do. I think Titans are going to go O'Doon at the 7th pick. Yeah, to really put another guy. I mean, who are they throwing to right now? Right? They're throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, but he's getting old up.
Calvin Ridley.
Right. Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I guess I can understand that, but that's not a number 1 to me anymore.
What?
We saw it last
Tony
year.
Pollard?
Tony Pollard? Yeah. I mean, you could go like Dylan was saying, you could go Brock Bowers. That's definitely not a horrible fit, especially when you're looking at the pieces to put inside of that offense. That's not bad, but I'm going to still go with Rome at the 7 there. Who's 8? Who's picking 8?
Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons. That's where I meant to agree with you. I think Alt goes to the 8. You just went and got your quarterback for the next 2-3 years. You know, you have an absolutely stacked offense with Bijan and Pitts and Drake London. Like, you need to have some line
Darnell
protection.
Mooney.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney. You need to have some line protection in there. So I do think that that's where they'll go ahead and draft their lineman with Joe Alt. 9. Who picks 9?
Bears.
Bears. Oh. Yeah, you might just same thing again. You might see them go back to back on linemen, or they might pick the best edge rusher available. I don't know what the draft looks like through the edge rushers, who they are and whatnot, but you could see them pick. I think that'll be the first defensive player off the board there at the 9th pick to the Jets. That's what I'm going to say that much. And then finally with the 10th pick, who's picking 10?
Jets.
Jets again, so they're 9 and 10?
No, 9 was the Bears.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool.
420 was on Saturday.
Well, it's every day. Yeah, no, at 10 spot for the Jets, I think they trade out of it. And I think they trade it to a QB needy team. I just don't know who that.
I don't know if there's any teams.
Perhaps Denver. Denver could hop up to that 10 spot.
Denver,
you know what?
Has the 12th.
Yeah, I don't think Denver is going to move from 12. Where the Raiders?
Depends on what
Raiders have 13.
The Raiders are at 13, but it depends on what Minnesota does.
The Raiders jumping from 13 to 10 with the Jets, and they'll take Michael Penix Jr. That's my top 10.
That's pretty solid. I mean, you guys are pretty around the lines than I am here. At number 1, I have Caleb Williams. I mean, although I think it was a mistake that they made this offseason with Justin Fields, you ruined a chance to get Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 1, or maybe even trading back, who knows.
Yeah.
But Caleb Williams is 1. Number 2, like you guys said, I think Jaden Daniels ends up going to the Commanders. Now, I know Jaden Daniels' team is not really liking the Commanders right now, but come draft night, that's name is going to be called at the 2 spot.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have Patriots drafting Drake May. Although I agree with Christian, I said Drake May would be the one that would be the biggest bust out of this entire draft. I'm on the same page. Yeah, which could co-align with Christian saying he could drop the farthest. Because, and if I'm saying this, NFL executives could also be saying this. I think we have a Mitch Trubisky 2.0. It doesn't help that he came from the same college too. At number 4, I'm having a trade up. I think Vikings come up and we get 4 QBs in a row with JJ McCarthy going, and they're going to pick swap over there. Number 5, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that would be great for the Chargers. You guys have both nailed it on the head. They need to replace those 2 receivers, 2 great receivers that they lost because of the cap space. And then they lost Eckler. They have no offense over there. They need to get better. Start with a young core. Give Herbert some help. At the 6, I'm going to say what Christian said. I think Malik Nabers is going to be the one who the Giants end up drafting. I mean, if Nabers doesn't end up going to the Cardinals, because I think if the Cardinals still have that pick, I think they go Nabers over Harrison Jr. just based off of what everybody else is kind of hearing out of there. I think it's a mistake, but Nabers goes to the Giants. Is he good? We'll see how he does. We'll see if he was the one that was putting Daniels on top or vice versa. At number 7, the Titans, I had them drafting Joe Alt from Notre Dame, offensive tackle. They need to get a better offensive line. I mean, Derrick Henry last year was just fighting for his life to get some yards. And I think that will help also with Will Levis a little bit. At the number 8 spot, the Falcons. This is going to be my little tricky one. I had 2 things going in my head. I thought they're either going to draft Dallas Turner from Bama, but I say they're going to draft Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle from Texas, strengthen that defensive line core a little bit. Now, I think this could be where the edge rusher goes to, which again would be Dallas Turner. Then we have the Bears. Now, because Murphy is picked, I think the Bears are going to be the ones to draft Dallas Turner as the edge rusher. I think they're going edge rusher. If Dallas Turner isn't there, this is the part where Jared Verse from FSU probably gets drafted as well. But I'll go with Dallas Turner. At number 10, the Jets. I think it's going to be Rome from Washington. That's going to be the next best wide receiver. That's probably who they're going to be going for. I did 15, so I'll continue. At 11, I have the Cardinals, which would be the trade swap from the Vikings. I have them getting Quentin Mitchell from Toledo, the cornerback. I think they'll be looking to get some better defensive help out there. Now, people may say, oh, why not wide receiver? But there's not that many good wide receivers left, so they may draft wide receiver later. At number 12, I have another trade. This is going to be the Eagles coming up and trading with the Broncos. I do think they get Terrion Arnold at the cornerback position. That's the only thing I think they would draft up and get. If the Eagles don't, I think they're going Xavier if they don't trade up. At the number 13, this is where you'll see the Raiders, and I have them drafting Penix Jr. I think no matter what happens here, I think Penix Jr. is a Raider, no matter what. I don't see him going higher, but I just don't see him falling past Las Vegas. At number 14, I have the Saints drafting Alumuyiwa Fashuni from the Penn State offensive tackle. And at 15, the Colts have that spot. They haven't had a good tight end since Mo Alley Cox, and I think they strengthened this with Brock Bowers at the 15 pick.
So I have a couple of.
Do you mind if I do my 11 through 15?
Yeah, do your 11 through 15.
I'm going to let Christian do his dot. What are you going to say, Christian?
No. Go ahead. I'll let you do it first, because then I might have the same. It'll be the same questions for you probably too.
Okay, so you guys had the trade up with Minnesota. I have Minnesota staying at 11. I think they go and get Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo, strengthen their defense. I think Minnesota's defense was one of the biggest things. They were very inconsistent. One week their pass defense would be phenomenal, but their run defense would be terrible. I think they go out, get a corner to try and help balance out that defense. Once again, Denver at 12. I think they stay there. I think they draft Bo Nix. I think Las Vegas gets Penix Jr., like you said. But I think New Orleans at that spot. New Orleans, one thing they need is another receiver, and I think they may go with Brian Thomas Jr., another LSU receiver with Neighbors. I think Brian Thomas Jr. could possibly be a good guy to line up with Chris Olave. Michael Thomas didn't pan out like they wanted. He's gone. So I think they need to get another receiver for Derek Carr. That 15 spot with Indianapolis, I think that Philadelphia trades up into that spot to the 15 spot with Indianapolis. You had a different guy. I had them going and getting Cooper DeJean.
15.
That's early, man.
At 15. I don't know. Listen, he has been shown as maybe the top prospect. I think that Philadelphia really likes the guy, but then again, you never know it. You never know with Howie, because I told David this in the last episode. I wouldn't mind if the Eagles stayed back and got Xavier Worthy, get that wide receiver 3 deep threat that Quez Watkins was meant to be. As much as people think we need a cornerback, I told David this last episode, we still have Isaiah Rodgers.
No, you don't.
Isaiah Rodgers from Indianapolis.
No, you don't. Isaiah, I was talking to David about this earlier today. Isaiah Rodgers' suspension was not lifted by the NFL. He's on a 2-year ban as of right now. He is not reinstated to play. You do not have a third cornerback.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then definitely got to get a defensive back. But I did like the Xavier Worthy pickup, stretch out the off.
I truthfully think if Philly doesn't trade up, I think that's who they get. I think if Philly doesn't trade up, that's who they end up getting. But I think if they're going to trade up high, they're going to go get corner.
Here's the thing. It's like, if I don't know, man. I don't know, because I almost feel like if you're doing that, then you're almost kind of writing the note that AJ Brown is out of Philly in the next 2-3 years, right?
Different types of receivers.
No,
I understand that, but Worthy's going to need to get paid at some point. You're not going to spend a first-round pick on a guy that you're going to get the ball to bare minimally, that's not going to ever hit over 1,000 receiving yards in his first 3 years. So by the time he does, you figure you're going to have 3,000-yard wide receivers. You're already paying 2 of them $25 million a year. You got to pay the third one. You're going to pay 3 receivers $20+ million a year.
I'm just saying that you get the offensive weapons, you get a speed guy. I mean, you look at Seattle has over there with Lockett, with Metcalf, and with Smith and Jigba. Like it works, and you want those weapons on the offense side of the ball.
Did it work though?
I mean, their play was pretty bad this past year. Whether
Well,
that
go
be
look at all the JSN stats, dude. They weren't off the board either.
again, he wasn't getting the ball to him that much either.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Let me put it that way. I wouldn't hate it if Philly did draft Worthy there. I feel like if you're looking for a speed deep threat, you can get Leggett in the second.
Yeah, that's also true.
I wouldn't hate that. That I would love even more if they went cornerback at 22 and maybe even traded up in the second to get Leggett. I would be great with that. I don't know, man. I feel like we need a cornerback more than we need a wide receiver right now. That's just how I feel. And so you need to do what you can to get the cornerback available.
Yeah, that is a great point, especially with Isaiah Rodgers not being reinstated. One thing that it could do, especially we got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. One thing that the Eagles defense was missing was the swagger that we had the Super Bowl year. That defense was firing on all cylinders, and they knew it, and they were going out into games like, hey, we know that we could play the best football in the league. We could play the best defense in the league, and we're going to show it. Gardner-Johnson, 6 interceptions in his 1 year with Philadelphia. If we get a good corner to where we're able to stop the big plays, which was the biggest issue we had last year, was allowing huge plays. I mean, you guys are talking about Seattle and Smith and Jigba. That's exactly what happened in the game that the Eagles lost. They had the lead, and they allowed a big play by Smith and Jigba to win Seattle that game.
Yeah, and even worse than that, it was Drew Lock quarterbacking. So how about that?
Yeah, did you say you're 15 yet, Dylan?
Yeah, I said Philadelphia trades up for Cooper DeJean.
Okay, that was your 15.
Yeah, all right. So then the questions I wanted to ask y'all then. David, this one's for you first then. What Minnesota's trade package look like?
I think it's just going to be a switch between the 2 picks that Minnesota has in the first round. I think they wanted that badly. I think the Cardinals are going to get the 11 and the 23 pick in the first rounds, and then they'll flip that with Minnesota for that pick.
So you think the fall from 3 to 11 is worth the 23rd overall pick?
I think if they like him enough, I think that's what they'll probably end up doing.
I'm kind of saying I think it's worth it to the Cardinals because
the Cardinals to get an 11 and a 23 overall pick in the draft for basically for that fourth, you're getting to the fourth, right? But you're getting a good corner, and then I have Brian Thomas from LSU going to the Cardinals as a 23rd pick in that. Not just saying what my
boy did the whole mock draft.
But I'm just like that's what I have. I just think that you could get a wide receiver a little bit later. You can get a good corner to start off with. Maybe they don't go Quentin Mitchell. Maybe they do go Terrion Arnold. Who knows? Like those corners, I could almost say are interchangeable right there. But I think it'd be worth them to stack their defense with young talent, stack their offense with young talent, and then you that's what you use those picks for. I think if the Vikings are desperate, they'd be willing to give those 2 picks, and I think the Cardinals should be willing to accept 2 top 23 picks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. For me, I feel like I need one more thing in there, like because we're talking all the way up to the 4 spot.
Okay.
Like,
how about an over the pants hand job?
Yeah, I guess. But I'm just saying, it's a top 5.
Could you see the
like? You know what I mean? Like,
fine under the
one of the shittiest teams in the NFL. Like, I don't know, man. I hear you.
Could you possibly see the Rams going after a tackle? I mean, they did just lose Aaron Donald.
They definitely could.
I believe I had them drafting offensive line. I think I have them drafting Johnny Newton.
And then let me ask you all this much then. After this is the follow-up question for both of you.
Defensive line.
Think makes the biggest splash in on draft night?
As in like a trade, or as in like somebody who like just what are you saying by splash?
Either whether it's a crazy pick like that shouldn't have been picked there, or just flip like let's say Chicago. You usually say Chicago picks Jaden Daniels. That'd be crazy. That would be insane, right? Or like I don't know, like Justin Herbert gets traded away and the Chargers draft JJ McCarthy at 5. Like,
yeah. So my two biggest surprises that I have is I have Jared Verse fall. He didn't want to. Oh, Dylan died.
yeah, Dylan left. He didn't want to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, what? I just told him my surprise and he decided he wanted to leave. He probably got a text and he probably wanted to go see his text. Loser.
What you were saying?
Yeah, so I was saying my biggest fall I have is Jared Verse going to Jacksonville at 17. I think that you can see Jared Verse falling, especially if, the Falcons go defensive tackle. I think you'll see Dallas Turner go before Jared Verse happens, and then Jared Verse is going to fall all the way down to 17 to the Jaguars. Another big surprise I have is actually going to be the exact next pick with the Bengals. And a lot of people may think Bengals draft offensive line here. I think they go get Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think they draft corner here. I think they go try to solidify the cornerbacks there. I think they try to draft him there.
I like that. It's not bad. That's okay. Now Verse, what's he DN?
Yeah, he's an edge rusher. He's a guy from
edge.
FSU.
That's what I thought. Okay. I thought so. I'm not familiar with all the names, most of them.
But yeah, like I said, I see him just falling only for the fact that people may not need defensive edge outside of the Falcons and Bears. And so I can see him falling that. Plus, you have the Florida connection. Jaguars love drafting Florida people as well. So I could see him go falling to 17.
Mm-hmm.
I think
yeah.
And one pick I want to highlight here, who I think may become one of the best players in this draft, maybe not because he's not going to the Eagles, but I do love JPJ from Oregon as the center. I feel like he is a stud. And, if the Eagles were to go, which they aren't, because we know we won Cam Jurgens, I feel like that's, at this point, it's kind of solidified. I think he could see himself having a good career nonetheless. And Dylan's point about Bo Nix, I think the reason why the Broncos can trade, because I don't think Bo Nix is going to go anywhere outside of the first round unless it's to Denver. I just don't think anybody else is going to draft him.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I think that's the guy who falls well, yeah, but it's going to be Bo Nix. And I don't think Denver takes him, dude. I just
Really?
don't think I don't.
You think they believe in Zach Wilson?
No, I don't know what they do. Truthfully, I don't know what they do, but I don't think they
got to go.
They get Drew Brees out of retirement, and Sean Payton does his best.
Dude, truthfully, you could see them hold off to the 3rd round and grab Spencer Rattler and throw him in at quarterback, dude.
Did you not see his Senior Bowl stats?
Yeah, they were all.
If I'm a quarterback, right? If I'm a quarterback and I'm looking at any team thinking like, oh, I don't want to go to that team. Denver is one of the teams where if I'm a quarterback, I don't want to go to. The way that Sean Payton dealt with Russell Wilson last year by throwing him under the bus, sitting him so he couldn't get his bonuses for performance, stuff like that. That is a coach you don't want to play for. That's a coach who seems like, I don't like you, but I have to play you. And it's stuff like that. Plus, John Elway, not great with quarterbacks.
I thought John Elway is gone. For some reason, I thought John Elway either sold his
Elway was
team
like the president.
I thought he for some reason I thought he gave up his rights. I don't know.
I don't know, dude, but I hear you. I don't know what QB goes to Denver, and I agree it's not really the best place to, looking like the best place to go. But at the same time, Sean Payton came out and said from the jump, Russell Wilson wasn't his guy. Everybody knew from day one, Russell Wilson was not his guy. So you have to figure he's getting some sort of say in this draft when it comes to their pick. So whoever they take, Sean Payton wants. So I feel like that's not really a dilemma that's sitting there as much. Is going to be worried about, oh my God, does this guy want me to be here? Is he going to fuck me over? This, that, and the third. Because now you're almost in a way tying Payton's job to your job, right? Because if you come in, you produce like shit, Sean Payton's going first. Sean Payton's gone first before you're gone. You have about 2-3 more years. If you're a first round quarterback, you're going to be, unless you're Josh Rosen, you have about 2-3 more years before you're gone, right? But no, not the coach. The coach is out the door. So whoever he picks, it's got to be his guy. He can't just be like, oh, nah, he ain't my guy. I didn't come here with this guy. Da-da-da. No, you're tied to this player. So you need to figure it out. So he better grow the relationship the way he had his relationship with Breeze, because that was his guy. Yeah. You need to figure it out.
And Wilson reminds me a lot of Drew Brees. So
yeah, black.
What? No, Zach Wilson. Wait, I'm so confused now.
Did you thought you were talking about Russell Wilson, but it's Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I thought you were referring to Russell Wilson. You know, the last Denver quarterback.
No, I thought Zach Wilson.
We're talking about.
Let's be honest.
I was like, just like Drew Brees, and you're like black. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, let's be honest. Drew Brees was a brother, and you can't convince me otherwise.
I don't think we can say that he is. I think we're not on the council.
He is.
Wait, is Drew Brees Kirk Chain's level? Like, I don't know.
He was on a One Direction commercial.
He was a Pepsi commercial.
Yo, dude, I remember when Pepsi was doing like the entry where you can catch a pass from Drew Brees, dude. Y'all remember that?
Did you win?
Heck no, bro. I probably wouldn't have caught it anyways.
But going back to the draft and everything, I know we said that Bo Nix was the only team that would probably pick him up if he went in the first round was Denver. I know a lot of people, you guys are talking about Minnesota trading up to get JJ McCarthy, but hear me out. Minnesota, even though Kirk Cousins got hurt, they like Jared Hall, and he wasn't playing bad either until he got hurt. Huh?
Who?
Jared Hall.
Who?
Whatever. He wasn't playing bad at first before he got hurt. And then Josh Dobbs came in, the hairless wonder, and he came in. He did good, but honestly,
no, he didn't. He went on a Linsanity run and then shit the bed.
So
baller.
Here's what I'm thinking. Right, I don't think Minnesota trades up. I still think that they stay back and get a defender. But your question, biggest splash. Maybe Denver trades up and gets JJ McCarthy instead of waiting for Bo Nix.
That's interesting. I don't hate that take there. Who do you think they trade with, the Cardinals at 4?
No. I could see them trading with New England.
At 3, interesting. To solidify the Drake May fall. I love it.
That's
it all crazy. Comes circle.
You say it's crazy, but we live in a world where Jalen Reagor was taken before Justin Jefferson, David.
And JJ Arcega-Whiteside was taken before DK Metcalf.
Yeah. So that's my prediction of a splash that might happen.
Yeah, and all I know is this draft is going to be exciting. I feel like it's either can be the most predictable draft or the most unpredictable draft. I feel like there's no middle there.
Well, it always depends on one pick, and that's Chicago's pick.
No, it's not, dude. No.
Will they get Caleb Williams?
Will they get Caleb Williams?
Good. I already have the permission.
Simeon, Brock Bauer, Paxton Lynch in 2017, Ben DiNucci, Zach Wilson, and who was it?
Was it Trevor Siemian? Is that who it was?
No, this year. Who's the third one?
Sorry, and Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham. Yeah.
Who wins? Who wins that 3v3?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I gotta go. Zach. The Zach Wilson group is for sure the worst of the group, though.
It's not good either way. Those are terrible groups. Christian, continue what you were saying, if you remember.
Do you remember where I was? Oh yeah, the whole draft kind of depicts on Washington, dude. It's going to be what Washington does. You know what I mean? If they go Drake May or if they go Jaden Daniels. And I mean, honestly, I feel like that kind of dictates how this draft goes. Or they could even go JJ McCarthy and send this draft into a frenzy, I feel like.
That'd
you know
be
what
wild.
I mean?
That would be wild.
I feel like if they went McCarthy at 2, the whole draft would look ridiculous.
Yeah,
it'd be like draft day with Kevin Costner.
I think they went Spencer Rattler at 1. I think that would send the whole draft into a frenzy.
Dude, you don't like Joe Milton at 1?
Dude. Okay, whoever gets him in the later rounds, I think they could have a stud in their hands. He looks like a baller.
Spencer Rattler's gonna go to Carolina in the 4th round.
Hey, who knows? But yeah, I guess unless you have anything else to talk about the draft, I guess we can move on to other sports.
Yeah, we can. I'm going to say it right now, dude. I got 2 takes right here. If the Sixers do not knock off the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Bucks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm telling you right now. I watched with my own eyes one of the greatest first half performances I've ever seen in my life from a player, bro. Dame Lillard was shooting lights out. If they can get that player all through these playoffs, and then you get Giannis back as well, they're going to be okay. They're going to figure it out. I think they will. The biggest problem, obviously, is Doc Rivers, right? I feel like that's the obvious point. Biggest problem is going to be Doc Rivers. I think Boston chokes it, though. I just think so. I really do. Second take, I think the Clippers might go all the way as well. I think they might take themselves all the way to the finals, not just the Western Conference, but all the way to the finals. Again, they as well, without their best player, found prime James Harden and prime PG-13. And that's what I'm saying, man, if you can get that continuously and you add Kawhi Leonard back into the mix, those are teams that are going to be very, very hard to beat. Very hard to beat.
I like your Clippers pick. Great team. Not to mention a coach who's already been in the finals before. Tyronn Lue, good coach. People wonder if it was only LeBron, which probably was, but it's a guy who has experience. Now, your prediction about the Bucks making it, here's my opinion on it. Yes, Damian Lillard had a really good game, but once Antetokounmpo comes back, the entire way that they play is going to change because it is Giannis's team. And I don't think that Dame is going to have as much freedom as he did in this last game to play like how he normally does. With Portland, when he was playing really well, that was his team. And he was playing lights out like he did in that first round. So, yeah, I just don't think, like, yes, Doc is the problem. He was the problem with the Sixers when they had a really good team. But I think Dame, when he plays free, any team that he is on is dangerous.
Here's kind of what I think to add to that, though, right? Is Giannis is going to come back. And yes, Giannis obviously runs that team. That is his team. He's the superstar. He's the guy who's on pace to have the Hall of Fame career and all this, that, and the third. We all know that. But I feel like even him himself would say, like, look, if you have the shot, if you're hot, like, and Dame right now is hot, take it. If you can hit it, take it, especially from behind the arc. Threes are worth more than twos, obviously. So take it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Giannis would be the first person to say that and tell him that. At the same time, yeah, the game's going to flow differently. He's probably not going to get as many looks because he's not going to be the primary ball handler the way he just was in game 1. But Giannis won't be back game 2, so he's going to be the primary ball handler again in game 2.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Giannis is back game 3, I think it's going to be closer to a 50-50 split, man, because if he plays well again in game 2, you can't shut it down. You can't take away all the looks. You can't. And the team is playing a great, as of right now, after game 1, they were playing a great team ball. That has to continue that way. Now, yep, we're going to see how it goes once again when their leader comes back in Giannis, but, you know, we'll see when that happens. Hopefully they do stick to it, though. I wouldn't mind. I would love to see Dame Lillard get a ring. I will say that. I would love to see Embiid get a ring first and foremost. Go Sixers. But if not him, I would not mind seeing. I would hate to see Doc Rivers get a ring, but I would love to see Dame Lillard get a ring.
David.
Yeah, and so with the Bucks, they look good. It's just again when Giannis comes back, how's the chemistry going to change? And you still have Doc Rivers. Do they make it past the Pacers? Looking at it now, I think the Pacers are a good team, but I think you sent me the stat that since the playing game, Halliburton's
since the
averaging
injury. It's really since the injury.
Halliburton's been averaging 16 and a half points a game. And, we want to call him an all-star. I think he deserved to be up there with one of the better players, but he has not looked like it recently. Is that because he's not fully healthy, kind of like Klay Thompson? Maybe so. At this point, I do think probably the Pacers are a bit of a stretch that beats the Bucks. Yeah. When it comes down to when you get down to the Celtics and the Knicks, I think those are better teams, but it's just going to come down to matchups. I don't think they really have anybody to guard Giannis for the Knicks. I do think that the Celtics obviously do. So I think you have Celtics and you have Bucks. I think those are the two teams you're going to look at. When it comes to the West Side, Clippers, I like the Clippers. I'm going to say the same thing I've said all year. I think they're a team that can give you some good wins. When you get down to a 7-game series, you're going to have to play a team with a good big man, and the Clippers don't have one to match. I just think they're a really small team. When you play a team like the Nuggets, when you play a team like the Timberwolves, I think they're going to get exposed. I think right now you're playing against the Mavericks, who are a good team, but they're good guard-wise. So not really amazing when you look at their centers. So it's just going to be a 1v1 matchup there. I still think the Nuggets. I'm going to still say Nuggets Celtics. I'm still going to hold to that. I think that's the easiest one to go for, but I think that is going to be still my pick. Now, I guess we can go individually. What's your guys' opinions on the Sixers right now? Is a lot of the issue they had during the first game going to be that they're just not performing well enough? The bench wasn't performing well enough. I mean, Embiid and Maxey had 62 points together. Or what's your guys' opinions?
I got a couple things to say about the Sixers, man. Look, first things first is gotta stop blowing leads, right? With or without Embiid, I don't care. You got to stop blowing leads the way that you're having them. I think they were up as much as 12 at one point.
They were up at 12
at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
right. Blew the lead and went down as much as 12 to 14, I believe,
and then went back up with like 2 minutes left.
Right. You can't you got to stop doing that. And what bothers me too, right, is I understand you lost Embiid for a little bit of portion of time. And he also came back and he was playing hurt technically in that game, but he's been playing hurt all year. Guys been playing hurt all year, right? But he's still been playing at a dominant level. We just got to figure this out. I mean, I watched him go on a run of just miss shot after miss shot after miss shot after miss shot after terrible take, terrible look. There was nothing. They were trying to force everything. They need to fix that. And the Nets are a team, or Knicks are a team, I'm sorry, who I'll give credit to. Josh Hart, player of the game that game, knocking down humongous threes in the last 4 minutes of the game. My jaw was on the floor. I was watching the game and I was just shaking my head. You can't do nothing about that, right? The guy was hitting clutch shots. Props to him, but you got to figure that out, man. You got to force something. You have the best win percentage in the league when Embiid and Maxey are on the court together. You have the highest points per game in the league. You have so much when they're on the court together that you need to figure this out and produce it. And I mean, I think they take it tonight. I think they get the win, even the series out 1-1, and it goes from there. But hopefully, Embiid stays healthy for this whole playoff run, man.
I agree. I agree with you. I think the Sixers are going to win tonight. And here's the biggest takeaway. I'm not afraid. I'm not fearful of this series. So, and here's the reason why. We only lost by 7, right? But that's with our bench combining for only 7 points on the game. The person, I know we were talking about Embiid needs to stay healthy. Maxey stepped up to the plate. It's the other starters, especially Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris, so inconsistent. And he is a guy that needs to step up. Otherwise, he's a free agent this season. Otherwise, he's going to be gone, and the Sixers are going to go
I
after
think he
somebody else.
is. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any way around it. He's gone.
and it's unfortunate. I think the bench is going to step up tonight. I think that's another thing is you got Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, great coach. When the Sixers signed him, I was all for it. I like Nick Nurse. I think that the Sixers will be fine. It's just you got to you got to stop giving up leads, like you said, and you can't let Embiid not being on the court be an excuse. Like he can't play the entire game, so you have to be able to play good basketball with him off the court. That way he can rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the game comes down to one man only. And I think Dylan already said it's Tobias Harris. The guy disappears way more often than he shows up. And it's a problem. And we chose him over Jimmy Butler. Why? I will never answer that question. I don't know the answer to that question, but we chose him over Jimmy Butler. And so, it's a guy who you think should be performing at a high level, especially how much he's getting paid, but he just disappears. And if you're not doing anything on the offense side of the ball, do something on the defense side of the ball. But he was the one blowing coverages against Josh Hart and letting wide open threes. And so you have a guy who's not doing anything on offense and becoming a defensive liability. You looked at Nick Nurse. If you see that, bench the guy. I understand how much he's getting paid, but this is win or go home. This is a team who has been known to not make it out of the first or second round of the playoffs. You got to do what you got to do to win. And if he's gone at the end of the year, good riddance. Thanks for nothing. The only good memory you gave me is your friendship with Boban. That's about it at this point.
And his goldfish commercial.
I agree with you. And I'll also say to Dylan's point too, the bench needs to step up, right? We need to see some big games out of players like Lowry. We need to see a big game out of Buddy Hield here sometime soon. We're gonna get one out of Ricky Council is gonna have a big game coming up here soon. But these are people that need to have big games. Maybe another big Batum game, right? But we need something, right? Because it can't just if everybody knows that our system is going through Embiid and Maxey, and Tobias Harris can't shoot for shit, then we're screwed, right? And they also know our bench is only going to give them 7 points. Then we're screwed. Every day of the week, we are absolutely screwed. You can't have that. And you just hope maybe it was an off night and that, and that's just bad shooting, whatnot. But they got to figure it out. They got to fix it. This team's a good team, man. They got the depth. They have the players. They got to figure it out and do it. I'll reiterate one more time to it. Buddy, I want to see a big Buddy Hield game. They need a lethal 3-point shooter on that floor. I don't know why he wasn't out there much in the first game. I mean, that's what you traded for. That's literally what you got him for, was to have a lethal 3-point shooter. You need to have him out there.
Well, you look at when the Sixers had playoff pushes. I mean, if you took Doc Rivers out of the equation, you look back at 2021 is the year that I look at when you have a team with Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Ben Simmons. That team was an Eastern Conference Final caliber team. It was just the fact that Doc Rivers didn't know how to keep personnel out there. But the reason I bring that up is you had a guy like Seth Curry. I remember watching the series against the Hawks where the Hawks would start coming back, and then Seth Curry would just start draining shot after shot to keep the lead away from the Hawks. But you got to keep a 3-point shooter on there, because when you have a guy like that who can hit shots, it spreads the defense out more. And guess what opens up? The paint opens up for Embiid, who can get a one-on-one matchup. But even if that's not the case, even if they suck in on Embiid, Buddy Hield gets open because the defenders get sucked into the paint.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. They need to start figuring it out. They need to have a guy out there on the edge that can shoot, because it's going to open up everything. And again, that's why I don't understand. Buddy Hield's not really getting the minutes right now. I don't know why. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I feel like it's what you traded for him for. Now's the perfect time to have him in there. Spread everybody out and figure it all out. Especially now that you got Embiid back. You don't need him to be, a guy who's dropping 25 points per game every night or anything like that. But can, knock down 2, 3, 4 clutch threes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have some exciting games going on tonight for the NBA. I mean, The one series we're not really talking about that much is going to be the Magic versus the Cavaliers.
Cavs.
That was the one I was looking forward to the most, and just not really talked about that much. I know first game is a 14-point blowout, but a good defensive game, 97-83. That's a pretty low scoring NBA game.
Yeah, well, all of the games this past weekend were pretty low scoring. Not a bunch of high scoring going on this week.
I mean, it's just that playoff basketball. I mean, they're not calling a lot. I mean, there's a lot of missed calls against the Sixers Knicks game, but yeah, I mean, you have Nuggets Lakers, which is going to be a good series. I really do think it's going to be a good series. A very gritty series. You have two good defenders, two good centers there, and then that Sixers Knicks series is. Right now, the Knicks are favored by 6 points, which is kind of crazy to think that they're favored by 6. So I don't know.
Well, just lost by 7. We're in New York again tonight?
Yeah.
Yep.
What time's that at?
7:30
7.
on TNT.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna be watching that one for sure.
Yep.
Here's one thing that I'll say, like with the, I think to add on with the Magic and the Cavs series, Donovan Mitchell had a really good game, and Paolo had a good game, 22 points.
Jeff Paolo?
No, Pablo from the Backyardigans.
I was just about to say that.
Getting a lot from Shaniqua.
I do like these series. I honestly think from for a long time NBA, it seems like some teams it's going to be boring series, but I think this year, like David said, there are a lot of fun matchups that you could look at, like Sixers and Knicks, great matchup. Magic and Cavs, great matchup. Lakers versus Nuggets, great matchup. Anthony Davis, 32 points and 14 rebounds last game. NBA playoffs are looking really fun right now.
Yep. I guess
No, I was gonna say, yeah. Who do y'all like out of that Cavs and Magic series?
I still like the Orlando Magic.
Just for the song?
Orlando Magic.
I like the young Orlando Magic team. I think the Cavaliers have the better overall team. So I think the Cavs will probably end up winning the series.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you there, David. I think the Cavs are going to be the winners of this series. However, I would like to see the Magic get it done. But at the same time, I feel like the Cavs are also a team that they could quietly make a run if they get something going. And so if the Magic are not a team that could make a run. I don't think if they were to get past the Cavs, they're getting swept in for whoever they play next, in my opinion. So I would also rather see the Cavs, maybe possibly make a quiet push as well. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting though. It's very fun playoff series this year.
Yeah, I guess next we can talk about a little bit of baseball. There's not much going on right now. I mean, seasons
except for the Phillies,
except for the NL East.
Yeah, very close. Not even just the NL East, the National League in general, very close. Brewers in Atlanta are tied in first, and then the Phillies, I think, are a game behind, game and a half.
Yeah, Braves lost last night, so yeah, put the Phillies closer, who are on a 6-game win streak, back-to-back sweeps. And it just stinks because it happened last year when the Phillies went on their 8-game win streak. I believe the Braves went on a 10-game win streak at the same time, so it just diminished what the Phillies were doing. But yeah,
a loss last night for the Braves is big. Then
yeah,
go ahead and get another one in the books today.
But what I want to touch on, not much to touch on. First of all, congrats to Bryce Harper. He's on paternity list tonight, which I'm assuming means he had a kid. Something, or maybe something, I don't know. But Bryce hitting on and off the field apparently. But it means you get Cody Clemens getting pulled off, getting pulled up. I'm glad to see him. He looked good during the spring game. Obviously, Roger Clemens' son there. But what I really want to talk about the Phillies is going to be what happens to this rotation. You have Taijuan Walker is coming back soon. What you have a rotation that have been pitching phenomenally. Zach Wheeler comes in. Obviously, he's your ace. Comes in. Was it 7 hitless innings? Had 1 hit, no earned runs. Spencer Turnbull only allows, I want to say, 2 hits, 0 runs in his last outing. Then you have Ranger Suarez in his last outing, a complete game shutout. You have a And then Aaron Nola, he pitched decent yesterday. He only gave up 2 runs, but not too bad. It was the first inning. He usually likes to do that for some reason, give up a home run and then pitch well the rest of the game. But you have a rotation playing free good baseball. And then you have Walker, who's set to come back. And, he did pretty good last year himself. We went like 13-6, something like that. 15-9.
Yeah.
So somewhere around those lines. Where does he fit into all this? Do you switch it up if they're performing this well? What do you guys see them doing with this rotation?
That's tough. It's a tough one. I mean, right now it's crazy because right now the odd man out is Nola, right? Like that statistically wise, the odd man out is
just signed into a giant contract too.
Right. So yeah, but there's no way in hell you're ever going to replace Nola, right? That's obviously
he's
a
the
given.
2, yeah.
But, so I don't know what you do. I truly don't. But I feel like in baseball, right? It's always the hot hand. It's always the hot hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't always feed the hot hand. You don't stop. The team that's hot, they're the one. You get hot at the right time, you're good. You can't. You can't. I mean, look at all the stats. Like you can't pull any of those pitchers off the starting rotation. You can have Walker waiting in the background for one of them to screw up, and then you throw him in. Now you let Walker give it a shot. But I don't know. I don't know what you do because you can't throw him into that rotation right now.
So one thing I could see them potentially doing, maybe rather than putting him into that starting rotation, they make him a reliever.
A long reliever.
You have Rob Thompson, who loves to take pitchers out in the 5th inning. So you have a relief pitcher who was a starter, who knows how to pitch for multiple innings. Have that guy come in who is a really good pitcher, but you can keep him at that position until, like you guys said, maybe Turnbull, maybe Turnbull doesn't pitch well for a while and his fire dies out. You have that guy who's on standby, like Christian said, but who hasn't been stale, who's been pitching in games. So you can have that guy come back in and replace him. But it is really hard. It's hard to say. You have a team who's really hot right now, not just pitching wise. Trey Turner, who's on a 10-game hitting streak, batting, I think, if I'm correct, 348. Batting 348 right now after starting very, very cold, very slow. So it's hard. It's been a while since I've been very happy with Phillies baseball.
Yeah, and when it comes to rotation, it is super hard. But I agree. You go with the hot hand. I think Walker, you put him in the bullpen. And, we've seen a lot of injuries happen to pitchers this year. I mean, you have an insurance guy in there. If somebody does get injured, you have somebody else to throw in there, someone else to pitch. I just don't think you touch the rotation for now. You need some bullpen. Why not do that? And at the worst, you have somebody at the trade deadline. Somebody, if you're like, hey, look, we need another relief guy. We need more prospects or something like that. You can use that as trade bait. But for now, you just leave the lineup alone. As much as I like Walker, and I talked big about Walker. I was one of the guys saying, why weren't we starting Walker during the playoffs last year? I guess maybe that was because of injury. Who knows? I do think that we just need to stay with the rotation we have right now. It's working. We're on a 2-series win streak right now.
Who are we playing this year?
The Reds.
That starts today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That starts today.
In Philly?
Atlanta plays Miami.
Probably in Cincy, because I believe we played in Philly the first series against the Reds.
It's in Cincinnati, yeah. And then Atlanta plays an easy Marlins team. But the Brewers...
Dude, the Marlins fucking suck.
And the Brewers are facing the Pirates, which that's going to be a good series. Pirates aren't a bad team.
They're doing pretty good, though, for the Brewers.
I miss him every day.
I know. It is sad.
But Castellanos with the Phillies is starting to pick it up.
Yeah, Brandon Marsh is off.
Rojas is starting to pick it up.
Yep. You know who isn't starting to pick it up?
Yeah, Rojas.
Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday, bro, that's horrible.
Dude, he is 1 for 30 batting .033 on the year.
Yep. Yeah, I bet you the Orioles are probably wishing they took Jackson Cheerio right about now.
Well, they're still in third place.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know they're in third place, but the number one prospect in baseball is batting a .036 or 33.
Do you think we could do you think if we all got our chances, do you think we could go 1 for 27 against Major League pitching?
Yes.
You think we could? You think we could go 1 for 27?
Well, if we split it up between the three of us, I know for a fact I'm going 0 for 9. So
I haven't swung a baseball bat in I don't know how long. So
If Tyler Tony,
you gotta look. You gotta understand, like a 0.33. Like Knicks had higher blood alcohol levels than that. Like that's how low that shit.
especially since he's in Las Vegas right now.
yeah, right. Dude's getting married. Congratulations, by the way. I just don't know when he's getting.
Our boy Nick.
But yeah, so I guess we can end it with. Do you guys have any certified ballers, deflated ballers from the past week?
Yeah. So my certified baller, it's going to be Trey Turner, playing really, really good baseball with the Phillies, especially since you looked at how he started the year, not too great, turned it around. And that's the thing about Trey Turner. That's what we signed him for.
Yeah, my certified baller. I mean, I still can't get over it after watching it last night. Dame Lillard, just an absolutely great performance. Put the team on his back, carried him to a Game 1 win in the first round of the playoff. That's gonna be my certified baller.
Yeah, and my certified baller is going to be a complete bias take here, but I'm going to go with my old high school teammate Austin Martin. Right now, he's hitting phenomenally. 7-game hit streak right now, and he hit his first major league homer yesterday. So congrats to him. He's kind of been the only good thing on this Twins team in the past several games. So hopefully they keep him up there. He's been doing pretty well, and hopefully the production continues. And who you guys is deflated ballers?
My deflated baller is going to be the fan that got Boone tossed.
That's on the ump. Why the fan?
Nah, that'd be my certified baller. What a goat!
The fact that him talking is the reason why their manager gets thrown out. But it's funny. Like, I can't imagine the coach's reaction. Probably just watching the game, doesn't say anything, and the umpire just goes, "All right, that's enough out of you. Get out of here."
They have. If you look on, I follow. It's called Bad Refs. I follow it on Twitter, and he just literally sitting there like this, like looking away from the umpire, and he goes, "You see in the background, Aaron, you're gone." He's like, "What?
What?" Yeah, he like freaked out. Yeah, it was crazy. He's like all calm, all collected, and then just freaks back out. It was great.
But Booney gets tossed every other game. So
my deflated baller, it's gonna be none other than the Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
You just put out the most atrocious uniforms that I think I have ever seen in my entire life.
Bring back mustard?
No. What? It makes the brown and yellow not look that bad.
I would much rather watch the Eagles play in the Steagles uniform every day of the week.
They're allowed
to watch those Mountain State look-alike jerseys come running up the tunnel for the fucking Broncos, dude.
The jerseys literally look like somebody went into Madden 08 custom team and made those jerseys. They are not good. They kind of look like
they're horrible.
They look like there's an orange and blue team. I want to say it's either UTEP. I want to say maybe UTEP. They kind of look like the UTEP jerseys. It could be Utsa, one of those two. But yeah, they're bad. They're really bad. And I'm gonna deflate a baller. It's gonna be a guy we've already talked about this episode, Tobias Harris. You just got to step it up. And every single time the Sixers falls come within the playoffs, it's always because Tobias Harris doesn't do anything. You're supposed to be the 3-star, and you don't do anything. He needs to step it up. If he doesn't score, I'd say, or at least doesn't do anything on defense, he's the reason this series goes to heck, because you have Max and Embiid getting 62 points together. Somebody else needs to carry some sort of load, and it has to be him.
I like it.
And do you guys have any wild takes before we go? It is draft week.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got two. I'll go one for the NFL. I don't know who, but I don't know who, but I think we see a team sitting anywhere between 20 to 29 jump up. I'm going to go 12-7. We'll see anybody sitting between 20 to 29 jump up to pick 12-7. That's first. Second, I think every series except for the Celtics. Nah, you know what? I'm going to even leave the Celtics series in. I'm going to leave this. No, I'm not. I'm not. Every series except for the Celtics series and the Nuggets series is going to go to 7.
Wow. That is bold. All right, I guess I'll go with my hot take. Maybe not that be a hot take, but I'm going to go with pick number 32 because why not go with pick number 32 here? Who's going to get drafted there? Well, I don't know if you guys know, but the Chiefs have a little bit of wide receiver issue going on with Rashee Rice. If you don't know that, so I think they're going to go get a wide receiver, and who they're going to get? I think you see Lad McConkey go in the first round at number 32. Help out Patrick Mahomes. Help out. Did they get another receiver recently? I feel like they got a bit. Huh? Hollywood Brown. Help out Hollywood Brown. That's a speed core right there. I tell you what, that team could be even more dangerous if that is possible.
Yeah, that team could be a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah, who knows? It could win a Super Bowl.
Well, the Chiefs do love their speed threats.
That's messed up. No,
You talking about Tyreek Hill or Rashee Rice crashing his car?
Yeah, right.
Rashee Rice.
No, yeah. See, if you're the Tyreek Hill, remember he's the one who gets in trouble for beating women. Rashee Rice is the one who gets in trouble for driving his car too fast.
It's a common thing in the NFL now. Nothing special.
Yeah, what Henry Ruggs the third junior.
Dude, yeah,
I was talking about beating women.
I think if you like break the 40-yard dash time, you're just gonna suck, or like be in jail.
This guy.
No, if you break the 40-yard dash time, you're gonna have one good year, and then you're just gonna suck.
Who had a good year?
Maybe dude should just like get motorized scooters.
David Johnson break the 40-yard dash record?
Yes, he did.
Oh, you mean Charles Johnson? CJ2K.
Chris Johnson.
That's
CJ2K.
No. David Johnson.
Yeah,
played for Arizona.
David Johnson, the running back?
No, yeah. Chris Johnson, the running back.
Chris Johnson's the one who
Chris Johnson had it, and then David Johnson broke it.
No, Chris Johnson had it, and then John Ross broke it.
You sure? Because I'm pretty sure it was David Johnson.
The record stood for like years until John Ross broke it.
And then Xavier Worthy broke it recently, right?
And then Henry Ruggs broke it, and then Xavier Worthy broke it.
No, I don't think Henry Ruggs. Okay, this is. Somebody do your homework, please.
Hold on.
We keep talking about David Johnson over here.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Take. I think a white man will break the 40-yard dash record. I'm just kidding.
There's gonna be some quick guy who comes out of like.
Hot take. I think that the Marlins are gonna take the series against Atlanta.
Ooh, I would love a sweep. Would love a sweep.
Not a sweep. They'll take the series.
What stinks though is that the Reds are playing really good baseball as of late. So that's gonna be a tough series for Philly. I know. Yeah, I'm just saying it's gonna be a tough series for Phillies. They got a nice lull to play against the Rockies, and then match that up with playing the White Sox right after that.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said last episode. I said the Phillies had an advantage. 2 very, very winnable series, and they went and swept. Both of them, yeah. So I think that maybe they'll take the hot streak. They're going to go into Cincinnati, so they're not going to have the Philly crowd on their backs. But the crazy thing about the Philadelphia team, like last year, I feel like they played better at away games than they did at home.
The Citizens Bank Park, Great American Ballpark, my bad, is a really big hitter's park too. Yeah, I could see a lot of home runs going out of that field.
I think the Phillies, tonight's game, I think the Phillies are going to have 4 hitters that hit a home run.
For tonight?
I think Marshy goes yard again.
Harper, Marsh, Schwarber, and I think Stott.
We'll have to see if Marsh is actually playing though, because for some reason, even though he's probably our best player right now, Thompson does not like to start him on a regular basis, which is wild.
Maybe that's why he plays so good, because he gets so much rest.
He had some. Do you imagine he wins MVP, but he's like resting every other game?
I'll throw this one out there. Embiid 50-piece nugget tonight.
50 piece.
50
I'd love to see it. Do you guys anything else to add before we go?
Yeah, David, you're looking real cute today.
Sheesh. Well,
I
right
love
back
you
at you,
guys.
big boy. Look at those glasses.
All right.
Dude, and
Just help you see
hair,
colors.
and the necklace.
Yo.
Yeah, they are.
Taking podcast. Like,
But if you guys have- If you guys have nothing, I guys have a good week. Enjoy the draft. Nick, enjoy your wedding. Hope you're having fun in Vegas. Not too much fun. Enjoy getting married. Dylan, any advice for Nick?
Hey, man. Gotta make sure she's satisfied on the wedding night. Don't just bust and then get out of there. Don't just bust and rush. You gotta take care of your gal. I know a thing or two about wedding nights. Yeah.
All right. I should. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. That's my fault. I shouldn't have let him say anything.
Yeah,
All right.
you should-
Whatever.
Thanks
Do
for,
it.
thanks for watching Highly Sexy.
The Highly Sexed Podcast.
The game differently, like nobody knows. Together unite, forming a podcast dream team, making waves in the industry, fulfilling their schemes. Highlight taking podcasts, we taking over the scene. We drop dubs and chugs, living the sports dream. From hot takes to deep dive, it's a winning regime. Come join the hype. We not just blowing steam.